want to give you a good look at the Excursion 6 HD by Xpedition. We're looking at about a 32-inch axle to axle, so not the shortest by any stretch, but we're looking at speeds IBO wise of 348 to 352. But we'll get a good look here around the bow, and you'll see right off the bat that the riser is cut out pretty substantially, unlike a lot of your other bows that you'll see from the Big Five. Now, nothing against them, Xpedition just did things a lot differently. They were acquired some years ago apparently by some aerospace engineers, and they decided to take the design along with some help from one of the designers that originally worked with Bowtech, and they really turned it up a notch. So let me give you the basic setup here. We're looking at a dead ringer quiver. It's 5 arrow. You never need 5 arrows, but if you like to use different broadheads, you like to maybe do a little small game hunting while you're archery hunting, definitely it's nice to have options. Secondarily, we will have our cutter stabilizers, and we going to throw them on there for today for tuning. I'm going to play with the weights a little bit once we get into actual range shooting. We're going to be playing around with arrow weights this year. I'm going to be going to a more traditional arrow build. We're going to be running those AccuCarbons over there from Easton. They're match grade 300 spine, about 8.9 or 9.3 grains per inch. I can't remember, but substantially lighter, to the point to where I am going to be running a 424 grain arrow right now. Last year I was playing with 697. So on the front we've got the Fix 5, and I'll come in at that real quick so you can see some of the different options. Now, the cool thing about the Fix 5 is it has an integrated tool right on top, and that's actually an Allen wrench in there, and I left it loose. You'll just see how long it takes to unscrew, because it is super duper cool. So it's nice to have a tool. You have an Allen wrench on hand. All of your pins are actually set by these hex bolts on top, and definitely like that. It's a lot easier than doing the old-fashioned loosen, hold the bow sideways, hope you don't move it too much, but you need to move it just enough. And next, that also applies to right here and right here. Once you loosen these bolts, you have 2 dials that actually do micro adjustments for you. Another thing I wanted to show you was this these roller guides and the string guide, cable guides. I wanted to get in here because this right here is really cool because it flexes. Now, of course, I'm not pushing it too much because the strings and cables do all the work on this thing. But the great thing is, as the cables ride the rollers, this actually flexes out. There's even another sound stabilizer on there, right there, and it helps with a little bit of vibration on the backside too. Flexible, moves the cables out, keeps your arrow clear. And like I said before, I'm going to be going ahead and playing with a whisker biscuit at the beginning of the year. I know there's arguments on both sides, but here is my actual idea for this. Is because when I was in the saddle last year, there were several times I made adjustments, and playing with that ultra rest, I ended up moving the arrow out, and it wasn't good. I had to try and find an arrow or catch an arrow here and there, and it just didn't work out very well. So I'm going to play around with this. I think it's going to be more functional and fashionable for me, and we'll see what we get into here. What we have here is our French tune setup for today, and what we have is a tape measure attached, but in addition on there you'll see a lock on a string. Going to shoot at 3 yards and 9 yards for a French tune. French tune, you make adjustments after each shot, and the idea, not so much to hit the center bullseye. You will work on your highs and lows depending on where you're aiming, but it's more of a rough. The French tune is, the idea is to get a left right, and what we're aiming for is that string. We have our tape measure attached to the top. That's right to the front of the target, and then we have that run out here, and our first spot is at 3 yards, which is 9 feet. And then where we're going to make our adjustments there is to our rest, or to our sight adjustments at 3 yards. And then we go the whole way back here, 27 feet, which is 9 yards. And at 9 yards we adjust the rest. So that's where we're at, and that's what we're going to be doing here very shortly. Okay, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go ahead, we're going to take our first couple shots at 3 yards. What we're doing is, for our left right, which is ultimately what we're looking at doing, we're trying to get as close or touch this string as possible. We're going to try and get as close as we can right here. So if we shoot and it goes left, we move the sight to the left. Yeah, same thing goes if we move to the right, we move the sight right. We chase the shot, and that will bring us back to center, and we'll see what we can end up with, being as close as possible at 3 yards. Then we're going to move over to 9 yards, and we're going to do the same thing, except this time we're going to move the rest against what our adjustment is. Okay, not bad. Just a little left. So we're going to chase it left, and we're going to go 1 tick mark, which is about a 32nd of an inch. Same thing, a little bit more, but we're a little bit closer. Now, I don't know if you can see it or not, so we'll try and zoom in a little bit to show you. What we did was we actually accomplished our goal here. We split the string with the arrow. So our left right at 3 yards is perfect.